Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. And if you're new to the channel, I'm your host with the most, the double SGD. And today, if you watched the previous video, we're talking about the fighting game community code of conduct, right? And last video was kind of like going over what it is and like some possible things to think about going forward. Now let's look at some of the thoughts from the community going forward, and one of the head guys from the event of the group, Mr. Ultra David. So let's first talk about how this policy gets adopted to begin with. For some of you who, here's a recap from the previous videos. Basically, it is up to the TOs of individual events to adopt it. So let's just go from there. So let's start here. Again, how do we adopt it? Fairly easy. I don't think this is complex. This should not be that hard for people to figure out, but I think people might be possibly idiots. That's not even a hot take. This is a take. That's a fact. All right. So we can easily adopt the code of conduct by adding it to your rules online or offline. Here are a couple ways to make it visible. Just download the link, the newest version. If you got a Smash CG, just link it in your event rules. Like this is brain dead simple. They do the work for you. Like this should not be hard. If we run events on Shell Launch, you can link it in your tournament description. To require acknowledgement of enforcement assignment for the check, custom fields for okay. All right, so you can make it a tick box that they have to accept this if they register for your event, which I think is the best way to go forward. I think you have to. Otherwise, you can say that, like, I didn't know this was a thing. I wouldn't have signed up if any of you guys are following these rules that I don't like because they exclude me because I'm a bad. Now there it is, front and center. If you host your community in Discord, you can specify rules channel in your community settings, and then you can provide this. Provide a physical copy in the venue when you do check-ins, orientations, or other welcoming procedures. I think just having it occasionally throughout the venue is fine too. In addition, promote is used by directing your attendees to this website. This can be via stream chat bots, field signs, stream banners, or anything else. And if you want to help, if you have any things, you can. There's a feedback page, right? This is important. It's a Google form. You can get your contact info, which is required, email, whatever you want to use. Your name or Twitter handle, and what your feedback is. I think that's important. All right. Documents. I want to see the change log. Oh my God, you can. I told you, Ultra David's a lawyer. Look at this. I would have never taken the time to do this. Man, look at this. They took out the. They took more professional language. Changed Discord to. Man, this is really good stuff, guys. Here's the shorthand, and then if you want to see the actual like physical changes, you can see how that's done here. So there's a good accounting system if you guys want to look through this. Additions, subtractions. I think it looks like they added this criteria part, which I want to see why that was. Move the criteria section up from the end of the document. Okay, it was in there the whole time. They just moved where it was in space of the document to make the flow better. Okay. They have a Twitter. I don't know if you guys know this. They have their own actual Twitter page specifically to deal with public relations and stuff for this. News. It's live, so that's just saying, hey, we're done with it. Signatories. This is important. So let's talk about the signatories. The fighting game community code of conduct is developed by a team of committees working at the FGC Tournament Organizer Discord group. Our signatories are sourced from this platform either as governing members of each committee or non-governing backers of the document. Committees are divided as follows: Code, Collegiate, Moderation, Inclusion and Diversity, Investigation, Legal, Public Relations, and Tools and Records. If you're interested in doing that, you can reach out here. Cool. You can kind of see who... Code Corey? Corey, what? No, I don't know. No. Oh, that can't be. That can't be Corey Gaming. All right. Yeah, I haven't heard a lot of these guys, but that's fine. It doesn't matter. Just because you haven't heard of them doesn't mean that it's not important. Snake Eater, Snowy Moogle, Ultra David. The lawyer, man. Non-governing. Ayo, Crispy, Contra, Nilly Boy, Overhaul, Shogun. Okay. So now let's go to the Twitter machine. What are some of the controversies that people had earlier today? Hold on, actually, let me just click a quick YouTube video.
5.21.
Man, it feels like I'm just picking on this one guy. I'm just gonna walk away now. I'm gonna walk away now. I'm not trying to pick on this dude. Boy. Shit. Alright, I'm tired of ignorance right now. Let's look at the productive world of Ultra David, okay? Who is a good guy. I appreciate you, Ultra David. This kid has their own Twitter account, so you know. What? I'm sorry. I'm the worst. Anyway, let's get back to Ultra David. So, the FGCoC group has put out its fighting game code of conduct. Okay, he abbreviates it there properly. This is the product of the last half year of discussions by volunteer TOs, players, streamers, etc., who wanted to help our community improve and move forward after terrible actions that came to light last summer. I'm on board. Let's go. This is 8 hours ago. Damn. All right. The list of this is like twit longer. You know what? We're gonna go through all of this too. This is a very in-depth conversation behind one of the main minds behind this, and so it is definitely important that we get that context. Prepare yourselves for a ride. The list of violations itself is pretty uncontroversial. Don't abuse people, don't cheat in bracket, etc. It's not meant to be anything that we didn't already know was bad, but if you need a set list of violations if you're going to try and enforce the rules better. So here it is. All right, fair. I agree with that. I drafted most of it based on previous codes of conduct I made for illegal clients, including pro tours, major TOs, and pro teams. You want to know where it comes from? The guy from working with the big names, right? Then tons of people give great feedback, making sure it covered enough stuff without being oppressive, creating unfair obligations, or taking on too much authority, etc. Some of it is left vague to avoid creating incentives for people to jerkily toe the line, and because it's impossible to cover every situation. But it mandates that interpretations of that vagueness must be consistent with the mentality of the FGC, so it intentionally limits itself. In fact, it specifically avoids taking on too much control. Its decisions are not legally binding, and it lets the TOs, chat servers, etc., who sign on to it to still make their own decisions as well. So no, it's not trying to take crown itself or stealing its power. Come on, y'all. So yeah, that's one of the things that I heard a lot of people were talking about, is that people were like, it sounds like a power grab. I'm like, how does this sound like a power grab? We're trying to make a set of rules and accountability, right? Y'all are crazy. So why do this? Because our old piecemeal system put too much pressure on individual TOs to make community-wide decisions and incentivized a dogpiling type of enforcement that nobody enjoyed. Hashtag ban infiltration. Having more, but not exclusively uniform rules, enforcement can avoid these problems. As so far as who's listed on list of the signatories link, it's mostly long-time community people whose work on tournaments, streams, etc. most of you actually are familiar with, but many of you might not know their names because they're mostly not the headliners. They're not randos. Lastly, please note that we sought feedback from almost all of the major US TOs. In fact, some of the East Coast TOs gave the most important responses we got, prompting significant rewrites. It was important to all of us to try to get as many regions, groups, and games involved as we could. Not everyone who consulted on this list is listed as a public signatory. Of course, it's up to each of them. Again, it's not binding or not a power grab. Some had legal or contractual. I can read reasons not to sign their names, and some rest weren't interested, which again is totally fine. But I hope that we'll get more people on board. Anyone who runs any tournaments in our community space is welcome to get involved, and here's how to do it. Oh, okay. I like this is where we start talking. He starts replying to comments. And let's just look at the dumb Twitter comments. Let's look at dumb Twitter comments. Y'all ready for this? Cause yay. Okay. This is a great example of how broadly the code had to be written. Some U.S. states would allow us to prohibit firearms entirely. Others make doing so difficult that it becomes impractical to ask everyone to handle things in the same way. So we made compromises like this. Okay. I guess we pull up the response. Yeah, don't threaten to shoot people. Obviously, nobody wants to be fucking idiots. Okay. I'm not. This is not gonna be a good YouTube video. I'm gonna be way too heated. I'm intentionally not part of the group that makes enforcement decisions. The people who are insulated from any names and cases that have to decide on, but if they expect that they know people, they have to recluse themselves to minimize potential bias. What? This is a word. This is applied to people you like, asking for a friend. I'm like, punctuation. But, yeah, okay. As you know, many... Okay, let's look at this one. That's confirmed in my last tweet. It's an American-based rule set with American-based mindset. It does not concern the FGC, but the American FGC yet. His response, as you may know, different countries have pretty different legal regimes, so having one code cover all of them isn't possible. For that reason, yes, this is a US-centric document. That said, some of the biggest contributors on it are in the European Union, Caribbean, Latin America, and etc. So hopefully allay fears about a power grab as well as changes for clarity and safety of the violations themselves. Here are the full patch notes. Get it? Because we're fighting game nerds. Alright. All I'm saying is don't be a dick. Don't harass people in any way, shape, or form. Don't be racist. Basically rule 1. And don't murder. That's a fairly... should be basic human mentality. I'll fucking drink to that. This should be applied to all tournaments. I agree with that. There should be no argument with this. Don't be a dick. Simple. You know what? The Twitter user of the day in my mind right now. Let's go. Alright, this is one of the comments I saw that I was like, man, this is some dumb shit. Alright. All due respect, the list of signatories for this doesn't inspire confidence. I can't see a lot of people taking it seriously until names like Elvin, Shadow Mike, the Hado, Jabali, Protom Cannon, and Ponder. Who are you guys? So the Cannon brothers, Evo, Jabali, CEO, Combo Breaker. Who does Elvin Shadow Mike do? Frosty Faustings. Okay. So here's where we're gonna go back to that thing. If you watch the first video, I mentioned it. I called it propagation of effectiveness, right? Let's go back to a very key phrase here in this initial document. Well, in the very first sentence of the preamble, what do we get? This is the fighting game community giving conduct, its goal is to prevent all these things, and to create a safer, more inclusive FGC in which people can enjoy the fun, exciting, grassroots spirit of our community. You see, everyone always wants to talk about how the FGC is a grassroots movement, and we didn't require any developer help to get where we are now. Well, now we have developer help. But if it's grassroots, it can't just be the major events, because then you don't take it anywhere. It has to be work from the bottom up. This is a top-down mentality, which has been shown to never work, right? If you find an example to prove me wrong, put it in the comment sections below, YouTube. I know you guys are out here trying to roast me. So, if you talk about how the community is based on grassroots action, then it needs to take grassroots action. This cannot be a 5-tournament thing and then the rest of the year we're just fine, right? Because that doesn't create long-term sustainability and growth. This is a dumb comment, and I'm banning you for Twitter today. It has to be, yeah, major events draw the most eyeballs of the scene, and if they're not along for the ride, then it doesn't matter. You have to condition them at the local setting, right? You have to make sure that you take home base with you. I think this is the whole. Now, on the contrary, on the flip side, I think this is an overly optimistic statement. This is pretty amazing. Will be the envy of esports across the entire country. It feels like this was a lot of volunteer work from your side, yes, and I hope this game's a tournament attraction to relieve a lot of headaches from local TOs. We all hope for those things. The envy of esports is definitely comes off as over optimistic, but I'm in line with the rest of the thing. The fact that no one spoke to me, and I've been sexually assaulted for great, but no one spoke to me. I hope y'all. Too damn long. Okay, hold on. Let me finish and shut up for a second. Let me shut up and be observant. The fact no one has spoken to me and I've been sexually assaulted, drugged, and raped, and robbed at knife point. No one's spoken to me? There's a comma there. I hope y'all actually do something because we've been waiting for too damn long. Alright. I drink to that. Alright, hold on. This is an actual conversation. Alright, let's delve into Twitter here. 2000? Man, that was long before me, man. We're trying. Alright, sorry. I'm supposed to be reading these out loud. It's hard. I've been waiting for justice for things that have happened back to me as far back as 2000. Woof. That's 21 years. That's 21 years. That's longer than some of you have been alive. Oh my god. This is the queen of filth and slime. They earned this one. After a while, you just hoped the community had more than enough time to help. You all spat in my face then and did so when it happened the following 2 times. How many more chances do you need? I definitely get this. I think but the problem that I see with it is it has a not defeatist mentality of just like you judge someone for a time of growth, their period, like where they are in their lives, but you're not acknowledging that they are actively growing and getting better and working to be a better community. So now that they're at the point where they're like, oh, we finally have a social cognizance to do something about this, and you're rejecting them for the effort they're trying to make now that they did not have the wisdom to do all those years ago. That's how I interpret that. You can let me know if I'm wrong. That's just how that looks. Do me a favor, genuinely help those in need, speaking up, and don't make them wait any longer than you hold them. It's a good start of a lot of good intention. A few lines I find concerning, I think need more foolproof explanation. Alright. Okay, so they will lay out the venue areas, hotel room. I kind of explained that in the first video. That rises above, yeah. That's just, I don't think those need a lot more explanation. This is cringe. I lied. That's the best comment of the night. So that's kind of the Twitter feedback to the events that are unfolding right now. And kind of the feedback to just on YouTube and everything. There's a lot of negative stuff. There's some positive stuff. I think the stuff that I see is negative mostly seems to be. I mean, I have that. We have that one YouTube video, an example of just unfounded stupidity, where you didn't go into it with a neutral observation to begin with, and so you only took out the parts that you wanted to assert the observation you wanted to make. So, that being said, I don't feel like that YouTube video it was a valid analysis of the content that was provided. Granted, he also read a different version than I did, which has since been edited. Content-wise, though, it was mostly holistically still the same document. So, aka your shit's whack, and I ain't about that. So, I think we're gonna take another break. Sorry, Spencer. Oh wait. No, Stream Deck, please. Don't be the worst. Okay, so that's the end of this video. Here's my thoughts. I'm definitely in favor of. There are some things that need to be refined and some concerns I have, but I'll see if I can get one of our signatories on the line to do an interview later, and we can try to talk that out. If you guys have any questions that you want me to bring up during this interview, to go ahead and put it in the chat. If you're on YouTube, sorry you don't get that opportunity. You should just come to the stream, make life easier. But I'll see you in the next video. So until next time, stay classy, and thanks again for watching.